Let me first say to Prime Minister, good afternoon. Also to many other of my colleagues, I want to take the opportunity to congratulate the branch management committee for the St. Joseph's branch for this achievement. It is indeed a wonderful and auspicious occasion when you have your constituency office ready for battle. Once you have passed this stage, there's no turning back. And I want Mr. Holder to understand that he can call on not only the entire Democratic Labour Party family, but he can rest assured that he can call on me whenever he needs to deal with that man up the road. You know, there's a big difference between the two of us. One is that he skins his teeth like he eats roast dog all the time, and I don't skin my mouth too often. And I do that is with a good rum and coke. You know, but I intend to do everything within my power to ensure that Mr. Holder is returned as the winning candidate for this constituency. And I want to say to him that I know how to fight, and I will be there at his side at all times during this particular battle. And one of the good reasons for it is this: I do not believe the Marshal is a good representative. I don't believe the Marshal is a good anything. But I am confident that with the work of the Democratic Labour Party's team, and I'm confident that with Mr. Holder's putting in the legwork that is necessary, that we are going to be successful in St. Joseph. He barely scraped home the last time. Yeah. Barely scraped home. And once we bring our full forces to bear, I'm very confident that we will win this constituency and win it soundly. But let me just want to make a few comments in general regarding the next election. And I've said this to my leader, that the next battle must be about educating Barbadians. We will win that battle once we explain to Barbadians and give Barbadians a method, a chart, a way forward for this country. Once we take Barbadians in our confidence and we explain to them where Barbados fits within the world economy, and we explain to them what we have done to make sure that many of the countries who are more powerful than we are, who have laid off sometimes 200,000 and 300,000 workers, countries who have collapsed entire economies like Iceland, entire economies of Ireland, entire economies of Greece, Spain, Portugal, and Cyprus, and they get to understand that a little country with no resources, and we are still holding on every day. All right. And we are continuing to provide all the social services that we need to provide for people. I'm confident that I cannot see how Barbadians will kick the Democratic Labour Party out and bring in Owen Arthur, who is simply saying that the way to solve Barbados' problems is to sell off the majority of the statutory corporations. Now, I have to believe that Barbadians were in school. I have to believe that they have common sense. I have to believe that when they juxtapose what it is that we have been saying to them in regards to holding this economy together, moving it forward, setting the stage for growth and development, that the Oinata plan of, and he said it, that he's going to carry privatization to this highest extent. I hope you understand what Oinata is saying, you know. Oinata said that he intends to carry privatization to its highest extent. All that simply means is that Owen Seymour Arthur intends to sell the Barbados Water Authority. He intends to sell the Barbados port. He intends to sell the airport. He also intends to sell the Barbados National Terminal Company. He intends to sell Barbados National Oil Company as well, and CBC. Now, I would say a Prime Minister would remember when they put me out of Parliament. And they threw me out of Parliament simply because they did not want me to quote from a 1997 budget, when in 1997 Oenatha said the exact same thing, that's what he was going to do even way back then. And the then Speaker of the House did not want me to quote from an official document which was laid in the House of Assembly. I was thrown out of Parliament. Now he is back to his old position, and that is that the way forward for Barbados is privatization. He also said, which he said before, that Barbadians wanted to go to heaven, but they didn't want to die. And he also said at Royal Eastman's branch meeting, I will never forget it, in 2006 in September, he said that he had to sell the land to pay the bills because Barbadians didn't want casinos and we didn't want legalized prostitution. I want you to understand what sort of man you're dealing with, you know. Right? So, his way forward for Barbados at this time is to come back and say that you must now allow land to go to its highest economic value. Same rhetoric of saying that he intends to sell whatever he can sell to the highest bidder. Now, this is a person who wants to come to you and convince you that he has the way forward for Barbados with that sort of nonsense. And I want to go back to something I think I said in I think it was St. Peter at his Ben's meeting. And I want Barbadians to understand what I'm trying to say here. I questioned then the logic of attempting to sell the Barbados National Oil Company and the Barbados National Terminal Companies Limited. The reason why I'm going to continue to hammer this is because every single country in the world maintains what you call their national strategic reserves of oil, gasoline, diesel, etc. It is owned by the country to protect energy security for all of us. Any Prime Minister that is prepared to give away and sell off a company that maintains the national oil reserves of Barbados has to be a half a madman. You understand? And what is even more ridiculous about the discussion is this. Right now, the Barbados National Terminal Company imports diesel, kerosene. We sell any oil that we produce locally. We send that oil to Petrotrin in Trinidad, and it comes back. The Barbados National Terminal Company Limited gets a rate of return of investment of 1%. And that 1% is so as to keep prices down. You tell me any businessman in Barbados that is going to take over the Barbados National Terminals Company Limited and get 1% rate of return on investment. You tell me, show me any of them. Okay. Right? And what it means is that from the time those companies are put in private sector people's hands, that they will be looking for highest return for the shareholders. And you can rest assured that what will end up happening is, one, diesel prices going to shoot up in the air, as well as gasoline prices, as well as kerosene, etc. And it bothers me that an individual who is supposed to be an economist does not seem to understand how inflationary that would be in a small economy that imports the majority of its inflation via oil and other products. I also said then that it is a bordering on, I want to be very careful here, see, because I see the camera. Let's just say that it does not make good sense for anyone to come and suggest that you're going to sell the airport and the seaport. Look, right now, the reason why there are ports in America and other countries that may be in private hands is because in America you have the DEA, you have the FBI, you have the CIA, you got the Coast Guard, you got about 19 different agencies that deal with cross-border issues. In Barbados, what do we have? From the time you make that move and put institutions like your airport and seaport in the private sector hands without those backup institutions to make sure that you can manage what passes through that port properly, you got a problem. And a big problem. Alright? I mean, right now, I know the police do the best, Coast Guard and the customs, etc. do the best, but we all know the reality. If they were in private sector hands, you'd have a bigger problem. And I said then in St. Peter that the people of this country should not support Oinatha with that approach. We should not give him an opportunity to sell off those entities. And I will say something also in regards to the transport board, because I know some of you could not get buses after 7 o'clock at night. When the transport, when you had private sector owned transport in Barbados. I remember my mother telling me we couldn't get buses to go from town to Brighton. People in the Greens in St. George couldn't get a bus. Alright? And the government right now supports the transport board to the tune of about $52 million per year. That is $52 million per year to keep the transport board operating, in addition to what revenue the transport board makes. So can you imagine if the transport board is now put in private sector hands and the company is in the hole already, in the red, $50 million. What the private sector people can do? Right. Well, obviously you're going to get layoffs. And I intend, Prime Minister, to continue along the length and breadth of Barbados, explaining to Barbadians why they must not give Oinatha an opportunity to privatize those state corporations that are so integral to the social cohesion of Barbados. And I'm going to go wherever I can and preach against that sort of foolishness. But let me say this, let me say this. Oinatha said at the last Barbados Labour Party's annual conference, he said that we should give you people incentives to do what is now being done by the government for education and health. Listen to what the man is saying. The man is saying that where government now provides support in the area of education at tertiary level, that is the Barbados Community College, Samuel Jackman Prescott Polytechnic, and the university, that he will prefer to give you incentives to do for yourself what the government now does. What he means by that is that he is going to stop government support with respect to education at the Polytechnic, community college, as well as the university. And I want to call on every single student in Barbados, those who are going to school now, mothers and fathers who have children going to school, and at the university, Polytechnic community college, do not give Owenatha the opportunity to carry out the plan. These aren't my words. What I'm telling you are the words of Owen Seymour Arthur at the annual conference. Alright? And this is the same man that would want to convince Barbadians that they should pass a government back to him. And these are the things that he has planned. Now, I don't want to get involved in the economics today. But I need to say two things before I wind up. And the two things are these. I used to believe that Owenatha was a good economist. I used to believe it, but I was foolish. It has taken me about 7 years of understanding and reading economic commentary and theories and so on to really come to grips with the fact that Owenatha has one particular economic model that he operates on all the time. One. Every time he has to be in office. And the last time at the opening of a constituency meeting, I think it was last week or week before, he made the comments again when he said that we need to embrace private foreign investment. We need to embrace foreign private investment. I want you to look at the West Coast. I want you to understand what Owenatha is telling you, that the model he has for development of Barbados is simply to sell things, whether you're selling to locals or you're selling to foreigners. That is Owenatha's economics. Sell things. And I wanted to bring it down as simple as that, because in fact that's really what it is. Foreign direct investment for Owenatha was building condominiums, building hotels, and that was how Owenatha got foreign exchange. He did not get the foreign exchange from saving foreign exchange by promoting the alternative energy sector that we are doing now. He didn't get the foreign exchange by restructuring the agricultural sector so that we can save large amounts of money, foreign exchange, going to the country purchasing food. He didn't do nothing like that. Right? He got the foreign exchange by giving people concessions to build condominiums and hotels. And that's the reason why he's now back saying, let the land go to its highest economic value. Right? He didn't save foreign exchange by dealing with the rum industry and the, I shouldn't say that, he helps with the rum industry. But I now have a mammoth task on my hand to redesign and restructure a sugar industry. And the redesign and restructure that this administration is introducing is one to design to save foreign exchange. Because for the first time, the redesign will entail having your factories being able to produce large amounts of electricity to be put in the grid. No longer will we be seeing simply sugarcane plant producing a syrup. But when he had the 14 years, he did nothing. Now I am left with a position and this administration to find money, $200+ million to transform Andrew's factory, create a capacity in that factory so that it can generate electricity. And in addition, I've said publicly that I am not going to allow to continue a situation where we are producing 1 ton of sugar at $4,100 and then turning around and selling it to Europe at $980 when we were at school. Right? The transformation that we can execute, we will stop that. We're going to produce sugar locally for you to consume, so you ain't got to bring sugar from Guatemala and Alamala, wherever to get it from. In addition to that, for the first time in Barbados, the rum industry will now have access to proper molasses so that they can now produce large volumes of rum. Because we have a problem in that the majority of our molasses come from Guyana. And under WTO rules of origin, we can have an issue. So when he had the opportunity with all the money he had to spend 14 years ago, he did nothing. Not one thing. And you want to tell me that anybody who works in the sugar industry should vote for Owen Alpha? And I can go to the length of breath of Barbados and I can talk to every farmer, everybody who cut cane, and everybody who depends on the sugar industry, whether you're selling them oils or whatever. I can explain to them why it is that you cannot take the opportunity to go back to them who did nothing for you. And I'm going to explain to them how we can the sector forward. And I'm confident that Barbados will understand what we are saying and they will stay the course with this party. I'm confident of that, Prime Minister. I'm confident of that. But that is the economics of diversification of the economy that ONAPA should have done. But the only diversification ONAPA is interested in: condominiums, hotels, and drinking rum. But whenever you ring the bell, sir, I am going to be ready. And Mr. Holder, you got to get ready. And you rest assured that you can call on this Democratic Labour Party family. And when we are in that different environment now, it is no holds barred. And then I will be able to say the things I want to say, but the red shirt man on the hill. I'm going to explain to Barbados why they should never vote for him again. I have a lot to say. I kept my mouth shut for a long time. You understand? It's only last week or the last 2 meetings I started a little snippet drop up here and there. But a lot more going to come. And they're going to come very, very soon. Because I don't like the man. I generally don't like him. I don't like to say politician, you know, but I don't like that man. And I even enjoy the man. And I'm very serious. I don't mix my manners with my words. I know exactly what he's saying. You know, he says he's going to sue Chris Sigler. Because Chris Sigler says he's a chronic liar. Well, sue. You understand? I can say one. Because I know the things you said. And I can deal with it very soon. Take it easy. Leave it to me, man. So, ladies and gentlemen, I want to end where I started. Essentially by saying to Mr. Holder that there's no turning back. You have the full force of the Democratic Labour Party with you. And you can rest assured that with all of us behind you, walking with you and on this platform, I'm confident that you will be successful. And I'm going to show you that you will walk up those stairs to Parliament with us. And I want to say to you, sir, stay confident, stay committed, stay forceful. Let me give you one last piece of advice as a politician. This is my 4th general election, see? I think I know a little thing now or two. Talk to the people straight. Don't lie to them. Right. You understand? Straight up. And once you do that, and they build confidence and trust in you, you'll be alright. You understand? You know, people say skin teeth and laugh. That way I can tell the man up the hill. Good night, ladies and gentlemen.